What is... So what I was basically trying to do earlier... Actually, give me a second. I need to think about this one.
एउटा जर्नलिस्ट भएको अन्नाताले पनि देशको नागरिक हो.
Ooh, yeah, that's a lot of them. They said make it iconic, just like they said actually in yeah, this video's probably you have no idea. Quite a lot actually.
We won! We won! Corruption lose! We won! Corruption lose!
From Madagascar to Nepal to Peru,
Let's really go.
Gen Z protests erupting in pockets around the globe in recent months. Though
That's
the
Gen
individual
Z.
causes vary, they share a common thread. Protesters in their teens and 20s angry at the state of their countries, organizing on social media.
What the fuck am I witnessing right now? Fuck politician! Fuck everybody!
Yeet. Not happening. We're gonna first get through a few things.
Despite the president of Madagascar dissolving the government Monday, demonstrators continue demanding his resignation. At least 22 people have been killed and more than 100 injured, according to the UN. In Morocco, protests also turning
That's kind of insane. No, continue.
deadly.
Continue.
Authorities saying 2 people were killed in clashes Wednesday.
I do it for free, as someone said, folks. Look, I'm literally supposed to make something like sane out of this so you can understand it. Like I have to put it into something that you can understand. Nah, I'm kidding. I'm gonna smart bum this entire thing. Imagine reading. Like literally, I have to actually do that. So,
As the country's youth accuse leaders of prioritizing funds for the 2030 World Cup instead of needs like schools and healthcare.
it didn't only happen there. It happened in other countries.
Earlier this month, Nepal became the latest South Asian country to dramatically overthrow its government, as protesters, particularly young or Gen Z ones, took to the streets en masse. The scenes of Nepalese government buildings set ablaze were reminiscent of other successful uprisings in Sri Lanka and Bangladesh.
Let me cook. Look.
Obviously, the uprisings in each of Sri Lanka, Bangladesh and Nepal have their differences. Sri Lanka's protests were driven by anger at the government's mismanagement of the country's economic crisis. Bangladeshi students were protesting against a quota system for government jobs, and the immediate trigger for the Nepalese protests was the social media ban. But crucially, in all of these cases, the protests tapped into deep-rooted frustration at endemic corruption, poor economic opportunities, and bad governance. Young people and social media played critical roles. The protests were largely separate from organised political parties, and
why is that so
crackdowns,
familiar?
including with lethal force and social media restrictions, ended up galvanising the movements instead.
The fluency you talking about? What is this? 2008? Get this out of the way. January 2025 was probably the real...
For example, rapper turned mayor of Kathmandu, Ballad Shah. But beyond Sri Lanka, Bangladesh...
Based on what is going on with the internet right now, you probably know. So I'm gonna give you. Let me actually, you know what? Let me use ChatGPT.
And Nepal, this Gen Z-driven so-called South Asian Spring has in fact spread further, particularly into Southeast Asia. Indonesia was rocked by protests in August amid economic frustration and anger at politicians' perks.
Yeah, from Indonesia, yeah. So it didn't only just happen in your country, it happened in lots of other different countries. Whoa! Editor me is gonna do this, so Hello there, welcome to Frost and North Vlogs. Today we'll be doing another one. Today we'll be getting you up to date on what is going on currently in the GCW, the Global Censorship War. Now, lots of viewers have been telling me to use images to be able to prove what I'm talking about, but I am here for that, right? You need evidence. That's only normal that you ask for evidence. Ooh, that's a lot of talk. That's like a lot to touch up on. Like, I'm literally doing this, literally, willingly, out of my own choice. Like, literally, you're giving me. But fortunately, I do have evidence. This video is going to be filled with positivity of what you can do currently throughout the GCW as it is unfolding itself. Now, the GCW has been a very long-term running thing in the historical event in human history when it comes to modern digital. We might have to go back and actually recap on like everything I just listed in front of you. You know what? We're gonna do a speed round. Trust me, bro. Right? Trust me. Trust. We're gonna do this speed round, right? Speed round, like back in the day. I want you to pay attention to what we're going to be talking about today. It's a lame crypto regulation scheme. It's the first one for the Genius Act. The Genius Act has been criticized for insufficient consumer protections, potentially weakening the financial system and allowing major tech companies and crypto firms to operate with less scrutiny than traditional banks. And it's like, literally, it's a lame crypto regulation scheme. Like, I don't have anything else to say about the Genius Act. Take it with a grain of salt. I mean, literally, if you want to think what you want to think, I've seen it happen before. Basically, lots of really evil rich people are about to get away with like lots of really awful, disgusting stuff. If you want to touch up on it,
wait, they say I'm lying. Of course, we have the people who will say I'm lying because Media Analysis D, Windows Recall, Google System Safety Core don't currently talk to HQ.
Excuse the AC. Like, literally, this guy's like me.
Currently, there is no detected messaging between these particular client-side scanning modules and HQ. Yes, I know that. But the infrastructure is in place. The next piece in the infrastructure is the AI companion. The AI companion will be able to judge if communication should take place and get instructions from HQ. If someone wants to challenge me on this, I will ask if this is such a big technological step.
I mean, like literally, people will just say, "Oh, because it's not affecting me." Like, it's not affecting me. Oh, because it's not my country. Like, this guy's basically
Well, of course
saying,
not.
like, there's already a foundation.
If you have a running AI with the tools for scanning content and text, and the AI is already...
Let me... Okay, so... Man, editing me is so good at this. See, I could just pause it. Like, with editing powers, I can go... like, freeze the frame right here.
Already moving content back and forth from the AI servers to the devices. Are you saying it is a big deal to turn on the switch? This is the stupidity of people who are so gullible. I have an interesting philosophy in technology. If the potential is there to use the technology for evil, it will be used for evil. So if there's no technological limitation, what's the limitation?
Oh no, he's not wrong here.
The will of the companies? Do no evil? Yeah, they took that out.
Again, I'm literally going to speedrun these. You can do research on these. I'm just going to give you a quick recap of what they are one by one. And then if you really want to know all the nitty and gritty stuff about it, search it up on your own. This video is like, I straight up, like, this part's the speedrun. And the next part is like the not speedrun, which you do on your own. You're welcome. Scream Act is a lame censorship scheme. Yeah, so the Screen Act is a lame censorship scheme. The proposed Screen Act HR 1623 faces significant criticism for potential conflicts with the First Amendment and for exposing users to greater privacy risks through age verification requirements. As with other legislation targeting online consent, opponents express concern that the bill is overbroad. overbroad. I'm not even gonna care anymore. And could have unintended consequences that undermine free expression and user anonymity. We literally just had that case recently with Discord. And we also have the July 2025 Grok controversy. Grok actually did resurface and come back as its normal self. You can look into all of that. It basically said lots of crazy shit. Was all recorded. All over X, Twitter. I'm calling it Twitter. Yeah, so that AI thingy, if you really want to look into and get into the really deep details on that one, you can just search it up. It basically said all sorts of crazy shit. That's like all sorts of fascist rhetoric and lots of dictator rhetoric that is literally related to harming lots of innocent people for absolutely no reason by racially profiling them and by literally discriminating them by saying that it's fine because we have all this made up justification for it. Yeah, the thing got lots of people fired and people in trouble, but that's another thing for another day. We still have to get into the EU chat control. EU chat control's proposal, officially known as the regulation to prevent and combat child. Yeah, that's going to be blurred out of the video. It's considered terrible by critics for several reasons. While its stage goal is to protect children by detecting and removing bad thingies, critics argued that proposed methods, particularly client-side scanning, create severe risks to fundamental rights, privacy, and security. It's literally just another form of censorship. How do we know this is? Because whenever the government sees something that you post, if you literally think anything you do is not friendly, because of the thingies that you actually don't do, it's just gonna literally assume that you're doing something illegal, like lots of like very bad conduct and really bad behavior related to harming of younger aged humans and stuff like that. Just so you know, literally this could also be used to remove like criticism against government and journalist rhetoric. So if they're able to pass something like this, you're feeling screwed. So I'm literally just gonna say right now, this thing's being fought against like continuously. It already has like a version 2.0 right now, so we're just gonna skip 2.0. 2.0 is literally the same thing. It's literally just them like losing the battle legally and then like resurfing with another version of it that's like the same thing but like more intense, right? You get me? All right. History when it comes to digital media and physical media, which is also currently being attacked right now currently with all the censorship laws and all the censorship acts that are being passed around over the globe, passing and moving on as we go. There are numerous amounts of companies, scientists, and lots of real people in the technical field of things that are now showing their faces and have now also been basically disturbed and have been pulled into all of this dilemma.
A more serious issue Bloom is still dealing with, actions to ban books by her and others. According to the free speech advocacy group PEN America, several of Bloom's books were banned last fall in school districts in Texas, Pennsylvania, Utah, and here in Florida. Her book, Forever, has been on the American Library Association's list of the 100 most frequently challenged books since 1990. It's a battle she's fought since the 1980s and the rise of the Christian right.
And it was pretty bad then, but nothing like what's going on now. There are people in power who want to control everything.
It also showed kids questioning religious order, which is a common trend you notice with a lot of these. Like Harry Potter was banned because it promoted witchcraft, apparently. Between 1970 and 2010, Are You There, God ranked among American Library Association, also known as the ALA's, top 100 most frequently challenged books. The book was even banned in the elementary school that Judy Blume's own kids attended. Blume, however, argues that while book banning was bad in the 80s, it's even worse today.
Yeah, you probably imagine that with how this just got worse and worse within like less than a year. When you think about it, they're going for video games, music, art, writing, like just writing as in books, newspapers. They're going for media like the news, journalism, podcasts, like even what you wear, literally what you buy. So,
because Judy Blume is still alive, has worked in the publishing industry, and sees the trends that are happening. And it's worse now than it was in the height of the satanic panic.
And I hear there are groups around here and they will say, this is what I think, this is what I've read, that we want to protect our children. We don't want them to read anything that isn't nice. We don't want them, everything should have a happy ending. We don't want them to think. We don't want them to ask questions. We just want their lives to be perfect. Well, that's not possible because lives are not perfect and kids have a lot going on and you can't control that.
Every year, the ALA puts out the list of the most banned books each year. While 2025 is still ongoing, we have last year's list, and it includes a lot of downright chilling statistics. In 2024, 4,190 individual books were targeted by pressure groups. Between 2001 and 2020, for comparison, these groups averaged 46 titles a year. 46 versus over 4,000.
So I can translate what he means by that. Basically, lots of public places are being forced to take off lots of content that you could find on the shelves, like back in the day when you actually read books. Oh no. Viz, what is that? What is a book? What is a book, Viz? I literally had to make this video. Literally treating this as if like an audience of Generation Alpha members were watching this, so I can simplify it for you. Basically, public libraries are getting pressured by the government to basically take lots of books out because the government said so, with absolutely no basis to use with, because they said so illegally, so that certain speech doesn't get out. Like, it could even be speech that exposes corruption that the government does, and if the government doesn't like it, they can just go, yeah, take it off because we said so, or else we'll defund you and take over your library and destroy and stuff like that. It's so I can dumb it down.
55% of these challenges take place in public libraries. 38% take place in school libraries. It should be noted, challenged does not mean the books were successfully taken off the shelves. However, the massive increase is chilling. So who's banning these books? Well, 16% of book bans are initiated by parents. Just 16%. 4% are by patrons of libraries or stores. So, a tiny amount of people who actually read the books are initiating the bans. And only 1% are being done by librarians or teachers or staffs of any of these institutions. The Bluest Eyes is also called explicit, though Toni Morrison's deeply disturbing book is explicit because it features assault being committed by white people against black people.
That the people who do this thing, who practice racism,
Right.
If you put this in huge consideration, the fact that we're in 2025 saying that women shouldn't vote, saying that black people should be not allowed to post books, saying that the Jews deserve to be lit on flames in Minecraft because the people from X said so, because Asmongold looked at for a few seconds at a cute horse girl in a game that was literally just fictional as a whole, in the isekai or whatever fantasy genre. Literally, it's just a horse girl racing game. Uma Musume, anybody know that one? Yeah, it's a huge game. Literally, I can't believe the fact that I'm having to make a video literally talking about racism as if I'm talking to a bunch of 3rd graders and 5th graders who should have learned this back in school in the day. We have people literally just using ChatGPT to try to talk to each other. You know what it takes to talk to a person? You know how much? Actually going up to the person and starting a conversation. But you can't do that. No, Viz. If you get close to me, you're assaulting me. This woman here, which has a name, goes through what actual assault is. Wait. She can't put that book on the shelves because it's explicit and because the government said so. So that's going to be a slight issue. I'm going to do this actually, I'm going to do it on the spot. I'm going to continue to do this on the spot. All right. She talks about that. No, it's illegal. It's banned because the government said so. Why? Because it includes literally a person of color getting assaulted by lots of people of not color, right? And it's a real story. It's literally nonfiction, so it couldn't have been falsified. It's been proven. Well, not under this administration anymore, basically.
are bereft There is something distorted about the psyche. It's a huge waste, and it's a corruption and a distortion. It's a profound neurosis that nobody examines for what it is. It feels crazy. It is crazy. And it has just as much of a deleterious effect on white people, and possibly equal as it does black people.
The bluest eyes in the title is in reference to the protagonist wishing she had blue eyes so she'd be more accepted by her white neighbors, deeming her black features as a form of ugliness. It's a book about internalized racism.
For those who are not used to what that is, literally is basically internalized racism that everybody should have known what this word is. I'm still absolutely astonished that I have to explain that. Because some people just continue to remind me how dumb they are. But maybe I'm just perceptive. Maybe I'm absolutely, but I'm going to help you. Internalized racism is basically people who have lived in a life filled with just racism and discrimination. So when they live in such like poor conditions around racism and discrimination all over them, which, well, I don't see as much myself because I'm fortunate enough to be a person not exactly in that color around places that are not friendly to people of color. And people that once they're like so pushed to like this sort of violence in this idea and narrative, unfortunately at times people, rather than fighting against these stereotypicalizedness of themselves, when they start to basically say, okay, maybe you're right, internalized racism starts to form where people start to basically say, okay, you know what, maybe I do look ugly, maybe I am garbage, maybe I do need blue eyes, maybe I need to look this way so I can fit in society. When people start feeling that way, that's when you know you've done something wrong. If you're a person who literally was so racist to somebody for so long that they started to being racist at themselves. Is that hard to imagine? Isn't that literally bullying, Viz? Some people don't see it as bullying. They see it as like they have a reason to be racist. If you really want to like get an experience of what that is like, just go to X. Go to X. Go to X and literally just try to find somebody racist and tell them, hey, what do you think I should look like? And they're probably going to tell you, you should look white, you should have blue eyes, and you should be blonde, and you should be 6 foot, and be a muscular male. It's like I'm talking to like a kid right now. Like I'm making a video based on this. Like it's like I'm talking to a kid. That's mental.
It's used as a reoccurring discussion of these bigotries that people put upon themselves to the point where they self-destruct. The systemic bigotry internalizing these bad beliefs that hurt people. But in book bans, The Bluest Eye is often dismissed as a DEI book.
And it is just unnoticeable at this point. You can ignore it. And I'll be the very messenger here for you and tell you that there are actually choices and things you can do as a person, like individual actions taken by you that you can do and take right now, which I'll be trying to dissect in this very long video that we'll be making about what is going on currently with the GCW. But first, most of you might be coming into this video and going like, okay, what the hell is happening? What is that? When did it start? Or we're not exactly able to fully pin exactly where it fully started, but we do know that it's definitely intensified since January 2025.
Today, President Trump and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth spoke to nearly the entire senior officer corps of the military. It was an unprecedented gathering at a Marine base just south of Washington.
Today, speaking to a sea of generals and admirals whose experience was forged by 2 decades of foreign wars, the commander-in-chief said their chief enemy was domestic.
We should use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds for our military, National Guard, but military.
The Trump administration has deployed active-duty Marines and National Guard to Los Angeles.
Joe Biden did this. Joe Biden in this, guys. Oh my goodness. Oh, the misery. Man Dragons is kind of mid though, but what if Joe Biden did this, guys? It must have been Joe Biden. It must have been Sleepy Joe. Though I mean, I literally saw an orange man on the screen. Like his name is Orange Man. Like I could call him all sorts of names. Like Dictator's one of them. But like, yeah, totally, guys. Joe Biden totally did this. Where is this country going to? Like the reading and literacy level of people are just going down, and there are like phone bans all over the place. Like people can't even do their simple research. No, ChatGPT and Google AI assistant has to say people can't do their research. They can't do their research now. This video is literally just me making you all look like you're stupid or talking to you in a really easy to understand way, because we clearly have lots of 5th graders here metaphysically, right? And you are all legal adults who are not being racist and really bad, indiscriminate humans, right? I hope so. I mean, if you come here for the channel and you're really new to this channel, welcome to our first in this video. No intro today. Alright, so basically, I guess I'm returning August 2024, little video update from me. I used to have instinctual yawns in streams and recordings before I recorded. I try to keep myself occupied without having to re-record something and say something over and over again. I have a Discord server. It's been increasing in size. It is too many. It's 50 plus members. Of course, some being bots, but if it passes the 57 number, then I guess it's 50 members. Made some pretty nice allies. Really bad events have occurred in the server, and really good ones have occurred in the server. We got some people finally speaking up after a while. It took many pushes to do that, so I started growing a mustache. My beard's not really a thing I'd want to keep. It's starting to slowly come out, but it's no. And it's not growing on these ends. I guess it makes me still around a bit younger. It grows here, but I don't want to have it there. That's not really nice. It doesn't define the face, and it also makes the lighting in thumbnails very hard to look at. These people that I've met, I guess you could say, I want to say their names, but a lot of them you would want to meet them in my server instead. And I did warning that once they're in my server, they've become public figures. Everything they say will be seen and recorded. I know myself. Everything I say will be seen on the internet. Everything I say will be recorded. I already know. Long story, blah blah blah. I already know people are like, what, you're changing things. Yes, I am doing that basically just to give it a puzzle. Make the ones I want to make a biography for anybody else around there. Make it a little puzzle game. Go through a little Easter egg search. And so, most recent album I've released, Japegios, not the most proudest, but it is, again, it's just another display of my ability, but it's not really something I'd be very proud of. I did the Rival Plus album and I've remastered the Chronoble album, and I think I've remastered 2 songs of mine from the not the Riches album. It is like Pack Frenzy, Pack Frenzy. I think it was Pack Frenzy, but not that. What was it? Please subscribe. That'd be nice. Feed the Starving Artist. That's me. I have a name. It's Vizuwat. Maggie. Viz/Maggie. Discord link down in the description below. See how smooth that was? No, I don't have any sponsors. If anybody asks if I had sponsors, I mean, there would be like an incognito sponsor. The incognito sponsor would have been really funny if it came up on my screen, but no. But yeah, let's continue.
As well as guardsmen to Washington, D.C., but they've spent more time strolling than training. And President Trump vows to deploy troops into Chicago, Memphis, and Portland.
Defending the homeland is the military's first and most important priority. That's what it is. Only in recent decades did politicians somehow come to believe that our job is to police the far reaches of Kenya and Somalia, while America is under invasion from within.
So, it's been going on for a long time. But you probably are trying to look for the root causes from when it fully started. Well, let's start with number 1.
The Philippines saw its own Nepo babies online trend, and recent mass protests against corruption and billions of dollars lost to bogus flood relief projects. While in Timor-Leste, last week, university students led anti-corruption protests demanding plans to buy a fleet of SUVs for lawmakers be scrapped.
You're basically accusing us of creating fake predators for content. That's what they're going with Roblox. That's what you're going with Roblox. Sure, we're making fake predators for content on Roblox now. Let's just fakely make predators prey on fake children for content now. Is this what they're really doing? What they're doing to us is shoving us under the bus.
Accuracy and quality is important and monitored. Any information you provide to us on this call will be used to assist you and for the other purposes described in the privacy notice posted at visa.com.
Hello there. I just have a question about the learning request I have. So basically, what is up with the censorship?
Well, thank you for reaching out and sharing your perspective into that. As a global company, we follow the laws and regulations everywhere.
Under payment processors, not the government.
On our network, we are equally
This and MasterCard is screwing up our freedom of expression.
legal. Our policy
I am practicing my rights by telling you my feelings.
on legal purchases made by consumers.
Yeah, but Visa and MasterCard said, not the government.
Services sold when we process a transaction. When a legally operating merchant faces an elevated risk of illegal activity, we require enhanced safeguards for the banks supporting those.
Alright, it seems that MasterCard News has released a statement based on clarifying recent headlines on gaming content. MasterCard has not evaluated any game or required restrictions of any game activity on game creators' sites and platforms contrary to media reports and allegations. Payment networks follow standards based on rule of law. Put simply, we allow all lawful purchases on our network. At the same time, we require merchants to have appropriate controls to ensure MasterCards cannot be used for unlawful purchases, including illegal content. You know what I say? Bullshit. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Number one, it says right here, MasterCard has not evaluated any game or required restrictions of any activity on game creator sites. You absolutely have did. It says readers added context that they might want to know. Both Steam and itch have stated the removal of adult content came from pressure by payment processors, including MasterCard themselves. And that wasn't the government. Furthermore, MasterCard and their payment processors have documented history of refusing service to Japanese retailers over illegal content as well. And this isn't by law, this is on their own terms actually, contrary to media reports and allegations. You're basing this on allegations, so I'm afraid that gasoline internet is not going to work here. And MasterCard and Visa, you go fuck off and jump off a bridge somewhere in Minecraft. So this is my response to Visa and MasterCard's headlines, because technically the two are working together to do this. And as well, make sure to stay informed, be skeptic. As always, stay safe out there. Hey, what you say about me is what you say about society. And as always, please make sure to tell corporations that we don't give a fuck. We're going to make sure that you don't take our rights away, no matter how badly you wanted to protect your brand image. Hello there, welcome to Frost and Talk. Today is me, my name is Viz/Maggie. What you say about me is what you say about society. We'll be doing another recording. It is right now July 21st, 2025. Future me is going to want to know the date. Currently, as of now, I've heard the news of Iron Mouse leaving Visoju, and I want to leave my really short, quick take on it. And by the time this video is released, it'll probably be a drop release rather than a scheduled release. What I want to say is that Iron Mouse, you have no responsibility to be sorry for anything that you've done to raise over $4 million to the charity that you have been working so hard giving back to the IDF Immune Deficiency Foundation. Very lovely place. I'll leave a link down in the description below for that place, Discord server down in the description below as well. And I've been at this for many years and I've to know how this goes. And unfortunately, you have to expect things that are unexpected. And unfortunately, that's the third time I've saying that same word. Mouse had to leave Visojo, and Visojo, what the hell are you doing? So you all are in touch and updated with the entire situation. It's temporary because this is a situation, this is not something short term, right? It seems that from what I know so far, before Iron Mouse is able to release any new information, that the Visojo has secretly behind the scenes not have paid up their fair share of the money that Roblox and Connor hard work earned for the IDF. That'll be a crazy lineup for this one. Okay, we're on to this one. This is your job, unfortunately. Oh! Minecraft's leaving the star program, Roll Star program. Crazy Shred, the first man, the man to start the thing, first one, right? Big one. Name, leaving, along with lots of other creators. Don't feel compelled to leave the program if you feel it's not safe, but if you want to leave it in form of protest, Roblox might just start regretting. But if they're not, and they're not going to pull, right now Roblox is not pulling back any punches. They clearly don't care. So leaving the start program will morally scale them to millions, right? Millions are going to see it as Roblox being careless. And though, and Freecraft says it in his video, even you can watch it to the fullest extent. I can't watch a 3-minute clip about YouTube thinking I'm copying people's content and stealing it, so you can watch it here. It's on this page. It was minutes ago since of this recording, as of today, as of August 14, 2025 to 7 p.m. Eastern time. We also have to talk about this situation. As always, you can have your opinion on any content, but now there's this thing about people who are judging VTubers and going out there saying really mean, nasty things, maybe as thinking that they're professional, right? Thinking that they are a VTuber or shred, right? Saying and claiming themselves as a thing that they aren't, right? There's that happening also as well. Now, I've been in the VTuber community since the creation of VTubers. When was that, Viz? 2016. So even before I had a YouTube account, and even before the oldest account I have on YouTube was just made around in 2017, I've been around to see all sorts of stuff. And there's still people out there who are saying stuff about VTubers without even knowing what a VTuber is, right? They're only getting it from clips. So he says, but you claim to be a VTuber and not know what keys in the eye, Marine, Pekra, or what girl is. There's people saying this shred, but they don't even know like the basic VTuber names, right? Basic pioneers of the entire VTuber economy, right? It says, come on now, it's like that one VTuber who admitted she doesn't even like watching VTubers. Your clap made you looking over something. Now, there's this one girl, right? Well, I wish I could show the images, but you can look at this, look it up, or I'll just read it for you because you're lazy. This is like entering martial arts and not knowing what Muhammad Ali or Bruce Lee is. It's just disrespectful to me, and really, why did you even start? It's certainly not anything like that at all, says Wild Hurts, the one who is still really killing themselves right now. Hold on, right? Somebody says, Hololive is the largest VTuber company in the world. Pekra, Gurut, Marty are some of their most popular talents. It's like going through Florida and not knowing what Tallahassee is. It makes you look like a tourist. Wild Hurts says, I don't watch a single VTuber from Hololive. Never have, never will. This does not help you. Stay away. Leave the community. Right, next thing. Hello there, welcome to our first newest Roblox video. This will be something related to Roblox. So as a whole, we have recent news that yesterday the office of Congressman Rukana has reached out to Real Slip concerning about Roblox's child safety issues in moderation concerns. Slip and I shared information we have long distances of mail policy process and via Precraft himself. Today, Congressman issued this little statement. We're gonna play this video for you. Let me just fix my audio real quick because I know this is gonna be recorded. We're gonna hear what Congressman Rukana has to say, and then we're going to show you how you can participate as well. First, I'll show you this, and then I know all of you are going to look at this next. Congressman Rukana is also signing up. Signatures for things. First, we'll show his response right now.
There is a growing issue in our country with Roblox, an online gaming platform, and the abuse of children. Roblox is simply not doing enough to protect our kids, to inform parents, and to go after child predators. As you know, I have been leading the fight for the full release of the Epstein files. I believe in transparency, and I believe in protecting our children. Today, I'm calling on people to sign a petition. Let's get to 1 million signatures by Friday to push Roblox to do more to protect our children and to prosecute predators. We need to keep our kids safe online.
Welcome to our first newest Roblox video. Today we'll be doing another short video. We'll be doing another intermission between another few videos before I start going back to the normal content thing that we were doing with. I should feel like I need to bring something up immediately. So I made that Kai Cenat video very long bad just to explain the Kai Cenat situation, the streaming university thing and all of that, right? think it was Pack Frenzy, but it might be that one. I don't want to dwell on it too much. I currently still wear these, I guess. Beautiful things, beautiful documentary video, beautiful in-depth review video, right? What comes with making videos like those is that when you start making opinions that nobody else would take, you have to be that person to be ready to take any sort of criticism that comes to you when people come in from all sorts of angles. You know that whenever you do research online, you always gotta look at both sides of the stick. Kai Cenat is not a terrible person. I only called out his mistakes. I called out all of the things that he did at university, and I think it's a genius concept. I think somebody else should be doing it. You should be doing the same thing. I feel like everybody should have a chance. No matter how ugly and stupid they are, people can change. But when you go over to innocent content creators' channels without any single clue of what you're saying at all, when you feel mad, you shouldn't go over to the point where you start sending death threats to people just because they made an opinion about your favorite content creator. First off, we're gonna get this video straight up with about the Asmongold and Baby No Money situation. I'm gonna say his name right because fairly enough, you decide to respect people, you wanna at least say their name right. That's the first step to do whenever you start showing that you think that they're a respectable person. Sometimes we don't always agree with people's opinions, but when you don't agree with their opinions, we don't go off about these people by turning their backs on them immediately and throwing shame all over them. Asmongold has been known to be a right-wing extremist streamer who has been very leaned onto the political side of things, which supports Donald Trump's really terrible, awful, garbage, and disgusting policies. If nobody's said that to you yet, then there's something wrong with your media. So, to get this out of the way, we're going to talk about Decoy Voice's video that he's released very recently. It was released yesterday, but merely only 13 to 14 hours away from when I was recording this originally. I wanted to make this video to call out some people that have been looking really stupid online, and nobody's going to point it out for you if nobody else is going to do it. Nobody has the balls to do it, but a few people that I know, but they just don't want to address them by their name, so we're going to address these people by their name. If you harass any people in this video, it is all on your own accord. We're not dumb. People that tell people that let's not harass and don't put these disclaimers in front of videos is obviously really stupid. There's still going to be people, you want to at least say, yeah, duh, we didn't want people sending their fans over to other people's channels to harass them. But we're not telling them anything. We're not telling them to do that. Now, adding disclaimers, of course, is something you do for precaution. But in this situation, you're basically saying that let's just allow this other form of harassment, by the way, which are the Republican Party's voters, and not allow any sort of people to come in and fact check them every time. Seemingly fact checking them every time is now a form of harassment. I don't know who you are, and you don't know who I am. I do not like the concept of the idea of going over to the comment sections of people and telling them to delete their channel, to stop making content as a whole, and calling people very mean and rude names. So, to bring awareness to something that most people would probably not care about if you were one of those people who sent me death threats in the comments for making a singular opinion about Kai Cenat that I had to go in depth to explain why I made such opinion for. If you watch the video, all those 3 hours worth of footage that I made about Kai Cenat, you will understand where I'm coming from. That I'm not saying everybody is like a villain and criminal and law-breaking, non-abiding citizen with terrible behavior telling people to do criminal activity. What I was trying to reduce is to tell people, like young people, to not exactly think that this is the very thing that they should do for the rest of their life. There's some people who are not as talented as these people, and I'm going to admit this right now. I'm not saying these people are not talented. I told you that these people were either troublemakers, problematic, stuff like that about the professors. Not that I'd all say that they have no talent. They have skills, they have things that they work on, they have businesses to deal with, and that doesn't mean they have one brain and then that's all they'll need to be able to handle such business. Their business doesn't go off of just them being alone. They need person to program the stuff they have to do, plan it all. Those business people, those business people that you have to hire to be able to sustain a business, they're managers, employees, writers, planners, organizers, choreographers, photographers. There could be any sorts of thing that goes on behind the scenes that they don't tell us about. Hi there, welcome to Tavros. Hi there, welcome to Tavros. In this video, we'll be doing another quick short recap of things that I've been seeing going around recently around the internet. Now, you might have not seen my face before. If you are a new viewer to this channel, my name is Vis/Maggie. I've been at this YouTube thing for 7 years. To get that out of the way, if you don't subscribe, that'll make me sad. But that's just my own personal feelings. I mean, it's free to do, but besides that, we do have to get into something really serious today. It's gonna take everybody should be worried, and everybody should be concerned about this. It's all about the Roblox thing. Now you're gonna go, wow, bro is in the darkness. Yes, that's what I'm doing. I don't have enough lighting. Where I'm at, I don't have enough lighting, but it's enough so that you don't have to see so much grain pop up all over my face. It seems that in Indonesia, Roblox has been put under review for containing violent content and has banned Roblox from elementary and junior high students. I absolutely disagree with this decision because what they are banning for is about violence, right? Violence in video games, games with graphic content, games with violent content. It could, whoever thinks it's violence, that's what they'll think. Okay, here's what they said. The Minister of Education, Adamati, has stated that Roblox shouldn't be played by students because it contains too much violent content and opened the possibility to block Roblox entirely. It's one of the most stupidest things I've heard. But that's already been fought over for the past 2 decades, right? Studies suggest a small link between playing violent video games and increased aggression. There's no strong evidence to support a causal relationship between playing violent video games and real-world violence. Research indicates that factors like individual differences and pre-existing social environmental conditions play a more significant role in violent behavior. You have absolutely left me with no choice. This is for Chibi Reviews. Yeah, that flashback was kind of too long. I know you're here for like all this global censorship war shred, but clearly I think I talked enough about it. I just don't think you all do your research. Like, you all want me to do this for you in all in one video. Like, I don't have a crew and I'm unemployed. Gen Z jobs are doing terrible. Gen Z job market is terrible. Nobody's having it easy. And I don't think you are also having it easy as well. I'm expected to like fully formulate an entire video for you to watch to fully explain things, but I think I've already got enough. I think all you have to do is just pay attention and watch it. This is for my cadets who don't watch my videos though. Say right now, if you don't pay attention to my videos, then you're not doing shit. Do your film research.
Threads can also be drawn between all of these, whether it's the prevalence of the one-piece flag as a protest symbol and the leading role played by Gen Z, the underlying frustration at corruption and inequality, and the use of social media to drive these feelings, organise demonstrations, and inspire and share solidarity with those doing the same in other countries. Given the febrile atmosphere in the region, it's no surprise that the governments of Indonesia and Timor-Leste have agreed to many of their respective protesters' demands in bids to quell unrest. While in the Philippines, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., who, as the child of a notoriously corrupt former dictator, is perhaps the ultimate Nepo baby, has sought to align himself with the protesters.
And I have this jacket, I have this really, like, very, not doing that on purpose. Trust me, I'm not doing that on purpose. It's just I'm front of camera. Once I do that, I kind of have to show me to you.
This is certainly not the first wave of protests in which social media has played an important role. There's a lot to be said about the importance of the internet in the mass protests of the 2010s, from the Arab Spring to Brazil to Turkey to Hong Kong to Thailand.
The Brazilian Hatsune Miku has been deemed by hundreds of millions as a thing of beauty. Seriously, just this one piece of art uploaded by the cat Mitsu has been viewed almost 100 million times.
Just so you know, this is a lot more bigger now. This has like hundreds of millions of views now. But we have a cadet of mine right now currently in my server who keeps asking me about what Brazil has to do with it. Literally, I think the video itself that I sent a link literally explains it already. And you're like, what are they fighting for? Kiddo, you're supposed to search that up. What are they fighting you for? Go to the news. Check it. Since somebody keeps insisting that I add editing in a valuable analysis on what is going on with images, pictures, and flashy edits with my $0 budget, I don't blame you. I know you really want to see it. I said I would do it, but like, I can't, so I'm just going to show you other people simplifying it for you.
That being said, the original Brazilian version of everyone's favourite Vocaloid was posted to TikTok on the 14th of August by Skidibab, who has animated Miku as an adult hailing from South America. Small details from Brazil are often associated with the vocoder too, like a little Brazilian flag, the Guarana soft drink, and often she's kicking a football around to represent the country's love for the sport. Really, it's just representation on a massive scale, and it's heartwarming to see millions absolutely adoring the changes.
For those who were paying attention in the server when I posted those photos of Brazilian Miku in my server repeatedly over and over, along with the other announcements, sometimes, literally, it's hard to even fathom the amount of months of videos that I can't just like put together in one to explain everything that's going on. Like, if I talk about it, it immediately would be outdated, so just do the research on your own. But if you're like a person who's already been involved, then I don't have to tell anything to you. But Brazilian Miku is one of my favorite designs, and that's all I have to say.
This trend will be accredited to 3 separate artists. The first is Aaron Artista, who on June 25th of this year made a sketch of Hatsune Miku, but as a Brazilian. This is the OG Brazilian Miku with the design attributes you commonly see. Then on August 14th, TikTok animator Akio Skidibab posted an animation that reached millions of views in just a week. But this trend would really go worldwide with one Twitter artist, Doodly. Taking inspiration from Aaron's Brazilian Miku design and the animations on TikTok, they'd post their own art on the internet. And I don't know what it was with this Brazilian Miku in particular. Look at how many views this has. 85,000 bookmarks, I see you, and 373 million views. All of a sudden, everybody became obsessed with Brazilian Miku.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. We gotta make those intervals happen. If I don't make my own opinion, YouTube's gonna say I'm copying and stealing content from people when I see everybody else literally play the same thing for like 2 minutes straight. Oh, but YouTube doesn't take their video down. Credits go to the creators I clipped from, like Lessons in Meme Culture, this YouTuber's been around for a while. And Decoy Voice, Kais and Nat. I've also introduced Visa and MasterCard. Like, I mean, these videos come from there. I mean, NBC News? Other news?
Seeing all this fire artwork on the timeline? Here's Brazilian Miku playing football. Here's Brazilian Miku again. Brazilian Miku. You can't escape! You can't escape! You couldn't get her off your timeline.
Leave me alone!
Artists made memes of her. Animations of her went wild. I got to see artists use her to reference fighting game characters, 3D models, then with Zone Zero mods. Cosplayers were cosplaying Miku and were freaking killing it. Miku became furry, and a lot of artists were making spicy art of her, and I kinda want to be paid for this video.
Yeah, I also want to be paid for this video, so we're gonna just put down this image of the Hatsune Miku that looks really beautiful and just not risk that. I'm gonna make my take here. Absolutely true. Absolutely one of the best trends I've seen happen in a long time. It's happened throughout 2024 and 2025, and it resurfaced 2025 as of October 8th, 2025. Well, yeah, she's being used everywhere, just like One Piece. Literally, Brazilian Miku in One Piece is being used in protests and Dragon Ball. And lots of, like, literally, I can go all day about all, like, I'm just gonna put all the good people at the end of the video so you can, look into them for, like, sources. I also have a ddocs.new link for my Visnet, too. I'll send that later, too. If anybody wants to, look at the videos that I looked into for information based on these things, because I can't just shove all this information into one video.
You can't forget down bad artists on Twitter. I guess this is what Latinas does to a motherfucker. Regardless, there's so much behind this trend's explosion. Having like every community imaginable come together around a pop icon like Hatsune Miku, it was fun to just see people go wild with it. But why did I say that Brazilian Miku went worldwide? Think about this for a moment.
Let him cook now!
Why is it that only Brazil gets to have the fun around their own Miku design? But you know what was my favorite art around all of this? Hatsune Miku getting in trouble with the TSA for her passports.
Basically what he's saying is that Hatsune Miku also went international. There's a scene where he basically talks about all those sorts of other Mikus, but if I use too much of the video, I'm basically stealing the video. So, again, I'm going to give you credits. Let me open up my page. Toledo is the one behind the video. T-A-L-E-D-O is the one behind that video. My screen is currently black because if I continue to play their video more, it would probably get marked. So, yeah, they play lots of copyright music, but they chop it up where it doesn't get them fully claimed, which is all ballsy move for them to do. I'm going to place an image here. I think there's already an image on here because I can't just leave a full black screen because then somebody's just going to steal this part of my video because it's already black. You all you have to do is put a black image on top of my watermark and it's basically done for, but who cares about watermarks, right?
Maybe we'll get to see even more Brazil.
Going on in Miami, bro?
Brazil's Supreme Court has upheld a ban on the social media platform X, formerly known as Twitter.
Like only 2 days after this was all happening, Twitter got banned from Brazil. What the hell happened? It's a feud between two men and it gets pretty political. But to simplify it a bit, Brazil has been very aggressive against what they've declared ongoing misinformation and insurgent hate speech online. A lot of these aspects emphasized a huge conflict between Elon Musk and Alexander de Moraes, with far-right accounts being the center of discussion. And with Elon going far down the far-right ideology, connect the dots.
Obligatory interruption. So basically Elon Musk used this for a cloud technique. It's literally, he did this for cloud. It's just for cloud. He did it for attention. Brazil obviously has this thing with censorship. Elon Musk has this thing with censorship. Though both of them are wrong on both sides. Both sides were wrong on this side of censorship. They were just a bunch of grown old men fighting each other on the internet trying to make themselves look like they are right. In the end, both were wrong. Well, Elon Musk still is surrounded by people who don't think he's wrong. And this other guy from Brazil, which I'll not name because he doesn't deserve the light right now, he was also wrong, but he at least got told he was wrong, and it actually was completed. So he actually was fully wrong, right? He was actually fully told that he was wrong, and then Brazilian Hatsune Miku resurfaced and was reused again because basically she then became pulled into politics and then was used as a figure of protests. You're going to see him put in images. Toledo is going to put in images of this entire thing going on. And not just Hatsune Miku, but then One Piece got dragged in as well. So this has been a thing that's been going on for months. Well, over a year now, since early February, early 2024, I guess. But it intensified throughout January of 2025. So literally every year it just escalated and got worse. It will show you some examples. Just sit in and pay attention to what Toledo says. And yes, this is Toledo's video. They're behind this video that I'm putting as reference in this video.
Brazil's Supreme Court asked Musk to suspend just seven accounts, and he refused to comply with court orders. Because Musk stands for free speech. He fights against censorship, even though in 2023, at a request of the Turkish government, Musk censored content that conflict with the elections. I wonder why different politics came into play here.
Is anybody surprised about what happened? No!
2, 3, 4. Yes, different politics came into play. As a matter of fact, it's already 9:04 a.m. so I can do this. It is day 2 of me editing this video. So now future me, the me you see there is past me, and this is more recent past me. All right. So it's October 10, 2025, 9:04 a.m. So what he meant by other political means was because Elon Musk is a right-wing extremist fascist, right? And he's a multi-billionaire, and he's trying to urge for tax breaks for all of his billionaire friends. So only if the politics were on his side would he actually just say, you know what, let me censor this. When I do it, it's because it's good, but not everybody else. Which is, again, if you want to look at the data, Look at how Twitter used to censor things back in the day. Quite less, quite more disobedient to governments that are filled with corruption and fascists, just like Elon. So that's what he means by that. Because Twitter back in the day used to be a lot more refusing to censor things. Though they still did it, a lot less compared to now.
After Brazil's warning, Elon Musk closed office in Brazil, leaving no legal representative. And the foreign internet services company having no legal representative in Brazil is like a huge no-no there. Brazil then gives Musk a final demand. Name a legal representative in the next 24 hours and comply, or Brazil, Twitter's 6th largest market, goes bye-bye. Twitter did nothing, so Brazil ended up suspending Twitter nationwide, with even a fine for anyone trying to use a VPN to skirt the suspicion. What? Holy shit, ever since Elon buying it, Twitter just keeps getting worse. Brazil getting removed from Twitter is like Thanos snapping half the population. Do you know what this just did? At this point, Brazilian Twitter users saw themselves disconnected from the internet. Your Brazilian oomph faded from the timeline. And
that is so... Okay, that's a lot of copyrighted content. So, back on track. So, in simple, what he was trying to say was that yes, totally, lots of things were going on. Twitter was already being affected by all sorts of file site forces that were trying to change into something else. Elon just made it worse. And basically, Elon Musk's own ego decided to get so big that he decided to, he's like, nah, just, I'm not gonna do anything about it. And then instead of thinking Brazil wouldn't have taken action on it, Brazil actually did take action on the actual platform. So before anybody goes around saying that and most Republicans think that nothing's gonna happen, yeah, most people like Republicans would think that nothing would happen when they do something like actual consequences. Most wouldn't think that they would have consequences for what they are doing. Elon Musk, if anyone still remembers, is the very person who spent as much money possible to get Donald Trump elected by, well, first off, taking over Twitter, Twitter, and then spending a damn ton amount of money on ads. Basically. Now, we're about to get to the part where he mentions Brazilian Miku and where it comes with how it's really connected to Twitter real soon. I wish I could explain this better, but there's just a lot of nuance with this, because basically Ilma said nah, and then he actually got consequences for it, and then he said, okay, maybe we do want Brazil back, just so he could spew the same amount of hatred back towards it again in 2025 as of now, which is because this video was made some time ago. So
shit was disastrous for Stan accounts.
It turns out Brazilians were holding up the whole site, quite possibly the whole internet. The amount of popular accounts and fan pages that are now falling by the wayside is actually insane.
But wait, aren't I like forgetting somebody? Oh my god, Brazilian Miku.
But what the fuck? Why do they don't kill my nigga? What?
Imagine.
Yeah, I'm about to get into this part. So basically what happened was that, so the trend was like a huge thing. Hundreds of millions of people were watching it. The thing was exploding. There's art of like Hatsune Miku internationally. All the sorts of chaos are breaking out. Anybody who is probably cultured would already know what this artwork is referencing. We know it's a famous painting from an artist, but they kind of replaced the two characters in the painting with like Hatsune Miku instead. One is the normal Hatsune Miku, the other is the Brazilian Hatsune Miku. The Brazilian Hatsune Miku was exploding while Brazil was finally coming back into the mainstream light of all things. Brazil decided to take out X just then, when this trend was at its highest and peaking. So when this got into hand, we had politics, Elon, Miku, Brazil. They all combined. They're all exploding, and actions were taken to try to censor certain things. Well, they ended up with this. People were then like saying goodbye, because then all the Brazilians would have disappeared. And well, their main accounts, well, every single Brazilian, which by the way, Brazil's a huge owner of social media. Lots of people made lots of accounts from Brazil, and lots of people are from Brazil, if anybody doesn't know that yet. So yeah, when that happened, people were doing this trend where after hyping up Brazilian Hatsune Miku, they would then hype up their goodbye by saying, "Goodbye, guys. I will no longer have X anymore, or Twitter." And I saw all of my favorite artists, certain ones from Brazil, that were saying, "Goodbye. I might not be able to be back here over here anymore." Because then Elon back in still was around in this denial stage where he was like, "No, I'm not going to do that for Brazil." Well, he still ended up doing it for Brazil, and then we got all the Brazilians back, and then people were coming again saying, "Whoa, Brazilians, come over here!" And people were trying to bypass this thing with all their VPN providers and shit like that. So that's just how that is. So again, it comes at a cost that it was hyped, and then there was a political train. Then people were saying goodbye. People were making their final works. And again, this artwork I did send in my server. There's a lot of artworks in my server I sent of like just people saying goodbye to the Brazil audience on Twitter. So again, that was it was a global point in history. Like, if anybody wasn't here when this happened, you missed it, but all sorts of crazy things happened. Lots of crazy things happened. This will probably be the longest intersection I've been making on this video, but again, please make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel, leave a like, and that's all I have to say. I'm just gonna say that because and then people forget to do that when they watch a video this long, because I mean literally we're like an hour 7 minutes in, so
showing this artwork to someone who has like no context over anything that happened this week. Do you know how crazy timing it is to have this entire event happen right when Brazilian Miku is trending? But hey, thank you to Brazilian Miku for explaining what happened here. Where else will I get my news other than a Vocaloid? When the entire world is getting united off of the basis of a Brazilian girl, this legacy of Hatsune Miku, all of that's taken away? I can't tell if that's horrific timing or a twist of fate, but however events continue to shape from this dilemma.
So it does come with that. So people then were saying their goodbyes or artworks of it. Like people were uniting together on the front based on what was happening over in Brazil because of the stubbornness of one fascist who also unfortunately didn't change his mind even till now. It's still October 2025 and this fellow didn't even change his mind. This fellow still thinks that it was a bad decision, though he still folded. But again, literally, I'm just saying, like, people were all over the place that week celebrating Brazil and then saying goodbye to Brazil. All in that 1 week.
The world can one day be united again. The Brazilian Hatsune Miku trend is one that I believe the world surprisingly really needed. Not just to see fire-ass art or attractive woman, although I'm not complaining, but seeing all types of backgrounds and communities. From Brazilian Miku to all of the Mikus from the East and West Hemisphere, it makes you feel something. Was there some drama that spurred? It's Twitter, but the impact every single one of these Mikus had can't be understated. It makes all types of fellows feel included. Funny enough, when I was finishing up scripting this video, I saw this fire cosplay, but I also saw this remark from Japanese user Masa. Quote, "I think there are many women around the world who want to cosplay as Miku, but I think many of them hesitate because of the skin color restrictions. However, with the creation of Brazilian Miku, perhaps those restrictions have been lifted. All you need is a turquoise green wig with twin tails and you can become that country's Miku. This is true diversity."
Okay, so from here I can finally cut off that part. You can go further into that if you want. Start in around of 2024, around the very late 2024. If anybody wants to look into that, you can look into that in your own time. There is so much going on, trust me, kid. Me trying to make a video, trying to pinpoint every single major important event. It would take forever if I described it in detail. So at some point, I'll try to make a video that kind of makes like little animations of just like squares showing a specific event with a picture, name of the event, and date. And then you know, the thing that led to this next thing, the thing that led to this next thing, the thing that led to this next thing. So yeah, well, I'll work on that at some point. But this video will be like this is like a video based on like the stuff I have to deal with, and then the newer different video later on whenever I make it. It's just me trying to pinpoint the events back from where it was, because trust me, trying to get it all like a year's worth of events that were major leads to what happened here today, all in one video, trying to point them all down with detail is ridiculously difficult when you're a net historian who has to deal with all sorts of communities, right? That's over 50 of them for you.
But we are now more online and more connected than ever, and information now travels faster than ever. So, until the root causes of things like corruption and economic inequality are dealt with, it won't take much to inspire mass movements to spring up elsewhere.
We'll end the images, we'll end edits, and I guess we will be expanding from here. Now, if you're new to the channel, please make sure to subscribe for the, subscribe. We're trying to reach the 2K goal. We're actually getting closer, actually. We're going to get there. Probably by the time this video is released, we're going to probably have reached 2K. So we're trying to reach the 5K goal. We need to get to 5K and leave a like on this video. I appreciate that. My name is Vic /Magna. I've been for 7 years, and we'll continue on with the video.